Having a good knowledge of sports skills is key for a good sports leader or coach because this will mean they are teaching the group the correct techniques, which will therefore lead on to them being able to perform at the best levels possible. For example, a football coach of the younger age groups needs to know the skills of the game to enable him to get the best out of his group of players. An advantage of having a good knowledge of sports skills is that your team will be more advanced throughout their development of the ages and knowing all the little techniques and ways to play. However, a disadvantage of this can be you may be coaching too advanced and too hard on the players. And as mentioned before, if the coach has a good knowledge of skills of the sport, it can be a very positive influence on the players because they will feel confidence that they're the best possible coach to look up to and they're in the best possible hands when going through their careers. Also, knowing they're getting the best quality coaching, giving them a good chance of having a career in that chosen sport. Olympic quality coaches will have the best knowledge of sports skills in any given sport. This is because their athletes will be aiming for the best targets and for the gold medals in all competitions. A characteristic is being approachable. A coach or leader being approachable is good for their personality as the team or participant will not feel confident in that person if they are not approachable. This may well lead to breakdown in communications or conflict. Being approachable for participant in a single person sport is key as they will confide in you with things that are not related to sport, such as life problems, etc. And if you're wanting to be a long-term coach for that one person, the trust you build up will be vital for later on in the relationship. One advantage of being approachable is your athlete is always going to trust you and find out more about their everyday life if they confide in you without sport problems, etc. One disadvantage of this is the relationship can get tested with certain subjects. So if it gets too personal, you don't know if they might need to see a shrink or a psychologist, which can help them more. And if you suggest this, it may test the patience of the participant. Being approachable has a positive impact on the performer because they will feel that they can trust you as a coach, therefore will listen carefully to each instruction given to them. Also, this close listening means the performer will perform, giving a better outcome overall in the league or standing. Being a role model for your participant is key for building that trust and friendship between yourself and the performer. This is because they will be able to look up to you, and this is key when coaching a younger group or a participant of that age, as they'll be going through life picking up bits from the people they spend their time with, for example, their coach. Being a role model for your participants is good and it's an advantage because you set the bar high. So you set the bar high and they have to perform to that level. It's also being a role model is good as you can make sure that your conduct is correct, so that they don't get bad habits or anything from you, and you feel like you're actually making a difference if they look up to you. This is a bad thing as a coach. You may feel too much pressure to make sure you don't do anything stupid that they may copy you with. So in life, you might be treading too carefully, and they might see this as a problem. Having a coach as a role model can have a positive effect on any performance as they will be doing all the correct things such as techniques and therefore getting the best out of the competition. In football, if the coach is a good enough role model, for example, Yap Stam at Reading, he is a centre-back with a wealth of experience in the Premier League, and with Reading recently signing the young West Ham prospect Reece Oxford for a defensive cover, he will have the best role model possible for this development as a young centre-half, and with his guidance from Yap, hopefully Oxford can become the good quality defender that West Ham want him to be by sending him out on loan to a Championship club.
Understanding physical needs of participants. It is important for a coach to understand the physical needs of participants. If a coach is too pushing on a certain participant or an overall group, then the group may become discouraged and unmotivated. This could lead to a lack of confidence and focus in a session. A coach needs to understand the boundaries for each of his participants. It's important to motivate and push participants, but not over the line so that they lose concentration and focus, as I've already said. This should develop through a coach's experience as well as how a coach interacts with their players and participants. A participant will improve and develop faster if they are being pushed their limits, but not past it. If a coach is about to lead a session with a group of disabilities or physical complications, then he may have to change his session to different activities that are more suitable for them so that they aren't past their limits. Consistency. A coach needs to be consistent so that participants receive the same level of coaching each session. A coach needs to be consistently on time with the same encouragement and motivation for each session, as this will reflect on the participants with their effort levels and cooperation with the session. If a coach is consistent, then the participants are likely to keep coming back and show a good level of effort. Participants need to know where they stand. The coach needs to treat all individuals equally. For example, in a young age football team, let everyone have a go at being the captain and interchange on the bench. In a football scenario also, if you coach kids and the main message is participation and enjoyment, don't be contradictory and at the end of the game complain about the full-time score. A trainer. A trainer is someone highly qualified to help an individual prevent and manage injuries. A sports trainer is there to help a person recover and rehabilitate injuries they previously had or going through. They can sometimes be confused with personal trainers. However, while a personal trainer schedules and plans workouts, a trainer's main duty is to prevent injuries. Trainers are able to tape joints and muscles so injury will not happen again and are responsible for helping an individual through rehabilitation. Trainers are armed with the knowledge to prevent most injuries with their knowledge of nutrition, anatomy conditions, and protective equipment in training. This means they are able to help individuals in their involved sports succeed again. A trainer must work with doctors, nurses, and other types of healthcare workers to make sure that the individual takes the correct and necessary steps to get them on the right track to performing well again.
Knowledge of rules and laws. This is key for a good coach for a few different reasons. Without knowing the rules, how can they use correct tactics or make correct decisions about the game that is ongoing? Coaches will not know whether correct decisions are being made by officials. Coaches can also pass on their knowledge from previous experience to their own players to try and make it work in their favour. They will find the best way to get around the rules. Individuals that are new to a sport or just starting out in the game will benefit from this. They need to be taught through the rules and laws of the game, and the coach can be the one to do that. Hopefully it can help the players improve and stay in the game. However, if the players have different levels of knowledge about the game and its rules, time, better spent on other things, may have to be used on ensuring all the players are at a similar place in terms of the knowledge. Motivator. A good motivator will find ways to get the best out of their players. This could be before or during games. It could also be on an individual basis or towards the whole squad. The coach will be able to somehow get the player up for a game more, which can hopefully spark a better performance. The coach will motivate players in different ways. Some work better with an arm around their shoulder, whilst others perform better with a big speech. A good motivator will find the way that works best for his team in hope that he can inspire their performance. Motivation can have both positive and negative effects to the performers. They could be inspired by what the coach has said, performing to their maximum level. This is the ideal scenario, but it doesn't always work in this way. Some players may become over-motivated, and because of this their performance level drops massively. This then becomes a problem for the coach and his players. Patience. A good coach has to understand that it takes time for teams to gel together and make new tactics or ideas work. New players can take a few games to get used to new surroundings, a new manager and new teammates. A team can't always make new plans work immediately. It does take some practice, and a coach should recognise this and keep faith with his team. This also applies with results to a certain extent, with performances. If a player has a poor game or makes a couple of mistakes, coaches should stick with the player or have some patience and realising and accepting that this will happen while he plays his sport. If a coach is patient and keeps calm when he's in a bad situation, it comes across better to his team. Hopefully the team can share the same qualities and deal with tricky situations in the best way possible. A negative could be that the coach showed too much patience to a certain player when they keep making mistakes. They won't improve this way, and the coach needs to find new ways to deal with the situation. There's a fine line, but it's one of the many difficult problems a good coach would overcome.
An organiser is someone who has everything well prepared beforehand so they can plan the session quickly and can make changes and adapt. Sports leaders play a very important position in the sport you are playing. They are responsible for your team strategy, your substitutions and form of gameplay. They have a great burden on their shoulders. Some leaders do some of these responsibilities, but not all of them. To be a responsible sports leader, you must be able to communicate effectively with your team, make sure you know everyone and how they play. This is a common mistake everyone makes, as you put a player in a position that doesn't suit them. You should also treat everyone equally and fairly as a coach. You shouldn't have favourites during the game or let someone play just because he's your best friend. This is a very big responsibility and trait of a good, successful sports leader. Then forgiving. A leader needs to be very forgiving, because if someone makes a very key mistake under the supervision of the leader, then they need to show understanding and forgiveness towards the person who messed up. One of the most important acts of leadership is to forgive the temptation to take revenge on those on the other side of an issue or those who have opposed the leader's rise to power. Instead of settling scores, great leaders make gestures of reconciliation that help people get on with whatever they are doing. An example is if you are a coach of a football team, the players see you as a leader, therefore if they make a mistake, you have to show forgiveness instead of getting on their backs. A key feature of being a top draw leader and showing forgiveness is that you need to show respect towards people around you and make sure they are comfortable with what they are doing. For example, the role they are given in the team. A top leader will also need to forgive themselves for mistakes as well as other people. That way they are honest and can improve on their mistakes and get better at doing things. Then understanding the mental needs of participants. A leader needs to understand the mental needs of participants, such as knowing how to motivate the players in different scenarios and how to get them up for a game. A good leader also will want participants to engage. Furthermore, a leader needs to understand the mental needs of participants by taking into account what the participants in the session/match want to get out of it. Also, the way a leader could help a player's performance is they could give people who are struggling during training and matches extra help and extra support to try and boost their morale and confidence and help their mental state. Additionally, a way in which a leader can understand mental requirements of the participants is they get to know the participants on the teams more, so they know how to help them when they are struggling, and so they can get the best out of them when they are performing.
Hey, we got a great opportunity. We've got a dandy out there waiting on us. Offense, play fast. Simon free, man. Defense, swarm. Swarm and tackle. Punch that ball at every chance you get and keep busting. Special teams, lay it on the line. Attack's your responsibility. Attack. We got to out-block them. We got to out-tackle them. We got to out-hit them and hustle. It's real simple. You out-block them, you out-tackle them, you out-hit them, and you out-hustle. Sir. And you stay within the legal limits of the game. It's Mountaineer pride. Nothing cheap. From the heart. Straining. Damn, I'm proud to be with you. I'm proud to be with you. I picked you a good one, didn't I? We got a good one. We were going to out-strain and I'd hit these guys. Let them know. Leave no doubt tonight. Leave no doubt tonight. No doubt. They shouldn't have played the old gold and blue. Not this night. Yes, sir. Not this night. Don't leave your wingman ever, ever, ever bail out on your brother. You help, you strain, and you just fight. Start fast. Stay on top of them. It's a game, lads. Let's have fun and go get us a big victory.